today's video, we're going to talk about getting gigs, performances, residencies, and then we'll talk about how that's going to translate into you getting on the bigger shows and the festivals. First, I just want to say, my name's Justin. I run a program called Cosmic Academy. We're an artist development school. We've been around for over 10 years. We work with over 500 producers, and they get incredible results. They sign to Spinnin and Toolrom and Anjuna. They play all over the world, and they play EDC and Ibiza and Ultra. And all we care about is results. We hope that you get results, and that's why we're doing this now. We're putting out these free videos from our premium program just so that you can maybe get some help out there. There's a lot of gurus on the internet and on YouTube, and they haven't really done these things. But on this specific topic, shows and gigs, I've probably done 2,000-3,000 shows in my life. That's my background as a talent buyer and a concert producer. So I'm really excited to talk to you about this today. Before I do, though, do me a favor. Smash that like button for us. In order to get this pushed out to as many people as possible, it really helps us. Smash that like button. YouTube algorithm loves it. So for gigs, shows, some of you might already have played some shows. Maybe you have trouble getting onto the next level of shows and concerts and festivals. I'm going to say this first, before we dive in too deep, just to preface, the number one thing that's going to matter for you is the music and the brand. Okay? So I will tell you how to get shows and teach you how to get gigs without that. But the truth is, if you have a big record and you're really good with your brand and you're growing a following, that will still be the number one thing. Okay? Think about it. You have a hit song, you're going to be on a stage, in a few years. If you're growing a big following and I can go on your Instagram and check you out, I always say a line, before I listen, I will look. What that means is when someone submits me a mini mix or a song to book them, even before I click it and listen to it and check out the music, I check them out on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. Do people care about them? Do they have a following? And I know we don't want to do social media and we don't want to admit the truth of it sometimes, but yeah, people get booked because of that shit. We have plenty of students that do really, really well on social media and they just get offers to play shows because people can see that they have a following, and that will translate into people caring and coming to the show. Because an honesty that we have to come to terms with is that this is the record business. Okay? It's a business. So just getting booked based on nothing because you're good at DJing, that's not enough. These shows cost a lot of money. The shows behind me, those are some of the shows that I put on. Each one of those cost $500,000, $500,000. And when they're booking you, they need to make sure that not only are you good at DJing, that you can perform, but people are going to care to come. All right? A lot of money is on the line. So let's get that out of the way. All right? Sure, if you have a great brand, you have good music, you're on big labels, it's going to make your whole life way easier, and these gigs are going to start coming for you. But let's assume that you don't have that, or maybe in addition to that, you want to do this in what I call the street promotional way. Okay? And what I mean by that, it's an old term, street promotion. It's not really done much anymore. You don't really see people flyering for gigs anymore, but that's the world that I come from. And I think what people don't realize is you can create your own gig. You can create your own show. You can create your own night. You can create your own opportunity for you to play. Okay? And I'm going to teach you how to do that. Before I do, though, hit the subscribe button, turn on those notifications. I want you to keep seeing these videos. We're going to keep doing them, so keep following along. I appreciate it. And I also want to point out there is an element of being persistent that is necessary here. Sending one email is not going to do it. Okay? Going into the venue one time is not going to do it. You're going to have to be persistent. I have students, they tell me stories about how they got this gig or that gig, and they're like, I emailed them 40 times. I went into the venue 30 times. So what I'm about to talk to you about, it's going to require a level of persistence, and that's just how this goes. And don't worry, it's not a bad thing. It's actually a positive thing because you want to show them that you want it. Okay, so just doing it once is not enough. I've made other videos on this. And on my end, when I see someone who's persistent, I don't think it's annoying. I say, oh, this person's a hard worker. They're going to crush it at my show. I want to put them on. So how do we make our own gig? What are we really talking about? It's tempting that we might want to just go to the big club in town, email the shit out of them, pitch them. Hopefully we get a slot at the big club. Let's assume that that doesn't work. Okay. realize that you can go into restaurants, bars, hookah lounges, dive bars, any single place that has an alcohol license, a liquor license. You can put on a DJ set there. You can put on a show there. And that's exactly where I started. That's also where a lot of your favorite DJs started. If you go look all the way back and say, where did Diplo play 15 years ago? Was he playing the cool clubs in Vegas? No. He started in a shithole in front of nobody, right? You go look at Steve Aoki, you look at Swedish House Mafia, they were playing in a pizza place, okay? And even bands back in the day, I don't think people realize is that the Beatles couldn't get a show to save their life in their own country. They had to go to post-World War II Germany and play in these tiny little crappy venues in Germany. And that's just how it goes. And if you're a DJ watching this right now and you know what I'm talking about, in the comments, tell me what's up, because I know some of y'all know what I'm saying. You play that shithole venue, no one shows up, and you're just sitting there by yourself, and that's part of the journey, okay? So if you're new to this and you've never played in some crappy venue to nobody, it's going to happen. This is part of the business. So there's nothing stopping you. There's nothing stopping you from going to a popular part of your town, or an area where there's a lot of food and a lot of drinking establishments, and going in there and offering what is called a full deal. A full deal is when you make some sort of a partnership with the venue on a specific night, and you're the one that brings the people, and you'll end up making the money off what we call the door or any tickets or cover charge, and they make money off the alcohol purchased at the bar, okay? And you don't have to use these terms. This is not really important. The important thing is realizing that you can set up your own party and you can do it anywhere. Now, I would stay away from doing it at your house, doing it at a warehouse, doing it where there is no what's called a liquor license or a legal establishment where you can serve, right? You don't want to get in trouble with the cops or anything. So going to a place that is already able to serve alcohol, okay? And I would also, here's some tips, I would not go to large establishments. I go to places where 20, 30 people have to show up and it looks good. Okay, I used to do a place in New York City when I was starting out. It was a French restaurant, and they wouldn't give us the upstairs because, again, we were just starting out, and we would do the downstairs in the wine cellar. And it was the kind of place where if you just had 20, 30 people, even 40, it looked amazing. It looked packed. And it was a great party. It was a fun party. That's where you have to start. And I mentioned restaurants. Yes, I do this today. It's kind of funny. I'll go to a sushi restaurant. I'll sit there and I'll be like, I could put a DJ booth over there. I could turn this place into a party. And that's how you need to be thinking. And that's where you can start. Because if you can start doing your own shows, then we get into the thing that I talk about in a lot of videos. Then you're proving it. If you're new here, I'll say the line that I say all the time. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. It's my favorite line from Training Day, Denzel Washington movie. Go watch it. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. The issue that I think a lot of people have is that they know they're good. They know that they should be playing these shows. But you have to be able to prove it. You have to be able to prove it to someone like me, to prove it to the festival people, to prove it to the talent buyers and the agents. How do you prove it? You're not going to prove it with a mini mix. You're not going to prove it with your DJ set on Instagram. A great way to prove it will be you setting up your own little show and proving that you can bring people and they care about you and you can do it consistently. Now, if you can do it consistently, even if it's small, even if it's 20, 30, 40 people, even once a month or once every few months, you can now jump up to a slightly higher level and go to the slightly better venue in town and say, hey, I hold down a residency. Now you're proving something. And that matters because as you continue up this journey, if we jump all the way up to a festival, I have 3 students this year playing EDC. Nostalgics, Taylor Torrance, Bex, I have 3 students playing EDC. Nostalgics is playing the main stage of EDC. We're so proud of her. But when she was starting out, where do you think she started? She started doing her own shows. Okay? Steve Aoki was doing his own shows. Diplo was doing his own shows. All these people, for the most part, were doing their own thing. And listen, you don't need all the lasers. You don't need LED screens. You don't have to rent smoke machines. That doesn't matter as much. It's about proving that you can handle the task. And And the way to do that is by getting your own gig. Now, just some final tips here. I would not start by going into the venue and immediately running around, where's the owner, where's the owner, where's the owner. You want to start with the people that have the most information and the most power, in my opinion, the bartenders, the waitresses, the waiters, the bouncers. Become friends with them. Get to know those people. Create what I call a hurricane of touch points, okay? And then once you become some friends or acquaintances with those folks, allow them to tell you, hey, who's the person here? Who's the person here that does the bookings? Who's the person here that books out the nights? Another tip on that, do not go to a place that already has an outside party coming in. So if you go to a venue where a Thursday night a team comes in and they do hip hop, and then on Saturday a team comes in and they do house music, and then on Wednesdays a different team comes in and they do a ladies' night. If they're already booking out their nights to other people, there's really no opportunity for you to get your own, okay? So what you want to find is typically places that are just doing stuff in-house. So it's just them doing it. You're basically not going to kick someone off the night. They're just scrapping it together on their own. And a lot of times this is why restaurants and bars make, a lot of sense to start out in, because they don't have, outside parties coming in. Another thing to keep in mind is, if you do go to a restaurant, if you do go to a bar, check out how late that they're able to serve alcohol. Because if they can't serve till, 3 a.m. and you're trying to do this late night techno party, it's not going to work out for you. So start thinking about some of these things, okay? But I truly mean it. The place that you're going to begin is you getting your own gig and doing that in tandem with the music and the brand. Beautiful. Like I said at the beginning of this video, you don't have to do this. If you just focus on the music and the brand and you start exploding, you don't have to create your own show. But like I always say, why not both? Why not both? And just like everything else, you start here, you prove it, and you work your way up, and you work your way up, and you work your way up. So I think it's fun. I think this is an enjoyable part of the business. Throwing parties is meant to be fun. Go look around your town. Go into some of the bars. Go into some of the restaurants, sushi places, this place, that place, whatever. Say, hey, what do you guys do here on Thursday nights? What time do you close? What time are you allowed to serve alcohol? Do you have a team coming in that does a promoted event? Oh, you don't? Yeah, well, I want to put something together here. Would you be willing to set something up? And it doesn't have to be some big contract. Do it over email. Try it out. Give it a shot. If anything happens, you'll gain some experience. And the best thing that could happen is you start yourself a residency, you work your way up, and that is the number one thing that a festival is going to look for. So if you were to say to me, Justin, what is the big thing that I would look for if I were to book someone at an expensive show or at a festival? Do they hold down a residency? Because what that proves, and that's what this is about, what that proves is you can handle the work, you can bring some people, and you're not going to fuck around. So I hope you learned something here. I got really good stuff for you coming, so hit that bell, subscribe. We'll see you next time.